During the week, I got to talk to a bunch of brand new mountain bikers, and the questions they were asking me was, how do you schralp through turns and make it look super pro? Well, the guys and girls that you see doing that have been doing it for a very long time, and they're still honing those skills today. There is, however, 4 fundamental elements that you can use to help you corner better. We're going to go down to a turn, we're going to look at those 4 elements, and hopefully you're going to be able to put those into practice and get schralpy sooner rather than later. First and foremost, we need to learn how to read terrain. By learning how to read a corner, it's going to give you an idea as to how much you have to brake, where you should ride, and what you should be doing with your head or torso to get you through that turn. If you look at the turn in front of me, you can see very clearly that the majority of riders are riding straight through here. Just because this is where they're entering doesn't mean you should. Look at all of this real estate up here that is used, but certainly not as frequently. The most used line, this should be used most line, and this one here is, let's say that for another day. You can see right up high, it's going to give us a really nice arc to be able to turn. Down here, it's going to make us square this turn off in the middle, and we'll have a look at what both looks like. When you're squaring off a turn using this mid approach, you're going to have to adjust your bike mid-turn, which means typically applying your brakes a little bit, unless you're super talented. Up here, this nice high line is going to give you the ability to set yourself up for that turn nice and early and travel all the way through with very minor, if any, adjustments to the arc that you're turning. Now, when we're talking about braking into a turn, when you're coming into trails, whether you know them or not, if you set yourself a braking distance that you know that you're comfortable with. For me, I'll brake a meter before this turn, so I know that I'm traveling at the right speed to be able to set myself up for the turn, and then I will build speed as I go through. If you're not terribly familiar with turning, maybe set your braking up 2 or 3 meters before the turn. It is faster to enter a turn slow and exit fast than it is to enter fast and exit slow, if that made any sense at all. The third and fourth tip is sighting or using your torso to do so. If we're coming into this turn here and we want to look where we're riding, and the bike will travel in that direction. If you're not very good at sighting or that's not working for you, maybe try using your torso, because it is a dynamic shift of that weight. Using your belly button as an example, if I wanted to turn to the right, I would shift my belly button and my entire torso would be forced to move with it. You see my legs, even my knees are tipping into that turn. Now, there is a lot to be said about using your torso to make a turn. If I'm riding down and I shift my torso, my head goes with it. So everything's working in unison. I'm going to jump on the bike now and we'll have a look at this midline to square off, see what it does. Then we'll come down and use the high line to nice big arc and see how much more speed we can build. So if we were to enter the turn where the majority of people are riding, it's going to send us to the mid part or the squarest section of this turn. So as I roll through, I've done all my braking, I'm set up, and I'm coming through to a point where now I'm heading towards the outside of the turn, which means I'm now going to have to adjust. Adjusting mid-turn means I'm going to end up in all this shaly business down the bottom here, and it's certainly going to wash off some speed. Adjusting midway in the turn also promotes braking, and we don't want to be braking in the turn, we want to have done that already. So we'd brake a little bit, we'd adjust the turn, and then roll out. Certainly not the fastest, nor is it the cleanest way to hit this turn. Let's have a look at this high line. Now, heading towards the outside of the turn is going to give us a much greater arc and a lot less adjusting mid-turn. Now, if I had some more speed, this would be much easier, but we really can just roll through the turn without too much adjustment. When you're doing it at slow speed, it looks all janky. Let's do it with a little bit of speed and see if we can make it look nice. Okay, a bit more speed. I've done all of my braking, set up for the turn, and rocket through without any adjustments. Nice and smooth, no sliding, no skidding, just a really great way to turn it. Okay, I've done all my braking. I'm riding where everyone else is, but now I have to adjust mid-turn. If we were holding a lot more speed where we're having to adjust at this midpoint, it is certainly going to start to slide. Up high, nice big arc, using my head to spot, using my torso to spot, and really using all the real estate available is going to make cornering much better for you.
That was sweet.
A little bit of speed, nice and clean, nothing flashy, just a really quick way through the turn. So I think we need to get a little bit flashy. What do you think? Let's get a bit drifty. Look at all this loose stuff. This is just ready for us to foot out and get a little bit schraupy. I think for the rest of the corners, I'll take you on board with a GoPro. We'll head down and we'll just hit turn after turn after turn. Nice and high in the real estate, exit in the middle of the berm. Nice and high in the real estate, exit in the middle of the berm. Using sight, using our torso, and braking that 1 meter before we even get to the turn, so we've got our speed set up correctly. Let's go for a ride. All right, so we're setting up for the turn. I've done all my braking. Full death grip. Set up, all my braking's done. Through the turn, set up. Braking's done, bit drifty, set up. Braking's done, set up. All the way through the turn. Brake. Roll through. Got a little bit sideways just then. Set my brakes up. Roll through the turn. Set my brakes up and roll through. Again, braking, heaps of real estate. Roll through that turn. Set up. Roll through that turn. Wow, I'm getting loose. Set up the braking, roll through. Really is key just to have those brakes all set up. Using that real estate. So when you do let those brakes off, you've just got a nice big arc that you can use to push you through that turn. Now, just remember that there's a lot of practice that goes into this. And if you're not getting it the first time, just give it another shot. Set your brakes up, then get off the brakes all the way through that turn. Got to tell you guys, this is probably my favorite turn on the whole track. You can jump into that wall. Now for most of these corners, once I've got my braking done, I just go to full death grip. So no fingers on the brake levers, set myself up, fingers off the brake levers. Generate a bit of speed through here so we can do the so you can do double. Set yourself up, back off the brakes the whole way through that turn. Set yourself up, and then again, off those brakes through that turn. And it's the same principle the whole way. Doesn't matter what sort of turn it is. You want to get that braking done nice and early, off the brakes. If you're confident going through without touching the brakes, then great. But until you get that confidence, you just want to set it up. Again, set it up, off the brakes. All right, let's get a bit of speed down here. Hey little boy, how are you? Hey little boy. You wanted to come riding with us, didn't you? You so badly wanted to come riding with us, but it was a little bit too far for you this time. But soon you're going to be right there with us. So there you have it, a little bit of how to and certainly a small amount of how not to corner. I hope it helps. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. For me, I'm out. Have a great ride out there, guys. Peace.